Pressure doesn't break you. It reveals you. It doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to expose what's already inside you. Let me tell you something powerful. Diamonds are not born in peace. They are made under the kind of pressure most people run from. And you've been asking, why is life so heavy? The real question is, who are you becoming through the pressure? Because if you learn how to handle pressure, you become unstoppable. Today, I'm going to show you how to stay calm when everything is falling apart. Not just once, but every single time. Pressure is inevitable, but panic is optional. Pressure is inevitable, but panic is optional. Life doesn't ask your permission before it turns up the heat. It doesn't consult your schedule before the unexpected happens. One phone call, one email, one conversation can change the entire rhythm of your day or even your life. But here's the truth that most people overlook. While pressure is something you must face, panic is something you choose to entertain. Think about this. When a pilot flies a plane into turbulence, does he throw up his hands and scream? No, he tightens his grip on the controls, leans on his training, and adjusts his altitude. That's not panic, that's poise under pressure. And you, too, are the pilot of your own life. The question is, will you let pressure drive you to chaos or to control? Pressure is not a punishment, it's a process. It is the squeezing that reveals what's inside of you. Just like a sponge, you never know what's in it until it's pressed. Some people leak fear, some leak insecurity. But those who are prepared, those who are built by discipline and powered by vision, they leak peace, they leak confidence, they leak calm. And that's the difference between average and exceptional. Take a moment to think about this. The seed that becomes the tallest tree must first break through soil in complete darkness. There's pressure on every side, dirt, weight, resistance. But that pressure doesn't kill the seed, it activates it. The same goes for you. Every deadline, every demand, every difficulty isn't meant to bury you. It's designed to build you. It's not your enemy, it's your entrance. Pressure is a sign that something inside you is being summoned forward. Now let's get real. You've had days when the alarm clock rings and you already feel like you're behind. Bills are stacking, expectations are climbing, and your peace feels like it's on life support. That's pressure. But what you do next, that's power. Most people respond to pressure with panic. They lash out, shut down, or give up. But panic never produces progress. Panic steals clarity. Panic feeds confusion. Panic invites fear, and fear, my friend, is a terrible architect for any decision. Let me give you something practical. You walk into work and your manager hits you with a problem you didn't create, but now you're expected to solve. Pressure. You could panic, complain, deflect, react, or you could pause, breathe, step back mentally and say to yourself, I was born to manage moments like this. Because truthfully, pressure is the test of leadership, not a punishment for weakness. It's life's way of asking, are you ready to level up? Imagine a firefighter rushing into a burning building. The environment is hostile. The air is hot. The danger is real. But guess what? The firefighter isn't panicking. Why? Because he trained for that environment. He studied. He practiced. He prepared. What burns others down, he walks through. Why? Because preparation is the antidote to panic. That's the key. You don't wait for pressure to arrive before you build your peace. You build peace in advance, so when pressure knocks, it finds a mind that is trained, not trouble. Panic is what happens when pressure meets unpreparedness. But when pressure meets preparation, something powerful happens. You don't collapse, you rise. Every champion you admire, whether in sports, business, or life, has this one thing in common: they stayed calm when it counted. Look at the athlete who makes the game-winning shot. The entire stadium is screaming, millions are watching. Time is running out. That's pressure. But in that moment, he doesn't panic. He locks in. He slows down time in his mind, and then he executes. What you call calm is actually mental mastery, and it's a skill you can develop. In your daily life, pressure might look like raising children on a tight budget, running a business when sales are low, or simply trying to keep your own emotions steady when the world is unpredictable. But here's the mindset shift. Pressure is not the problem. Your perception is. If you see pressure as an enemy, you'll resist it. But if you see it as an elevator, you'll rise with it. It's not about the weight you carry, it's about how you carry it. So the next time you feel like you're about to break, remember, diamonds don't panic. They form in silence under pressure in the dark. And when they emerge, they shine without apology. The same pressure that crushes coal creates diamonds. The difference: structure, integrity, and resistance. You are not fragile. You are not helpless. You are not meant to fold. You were designed to shine. Pressure might visit you, but panic doesn't have to live in you. You have the power to breathe, to reset, to focus. You have the authority to take back control of your mind. Yeah. And once your mind is stable, no storm can shake your soul, because pressure will come. But panic, that's not your portion. Not today, not ever. Prepare in peace so you don't break in chaos. You don't wait until the storm comes to start building your shelter. You build it in the sunlight, brick by brick, before the sky ever turns gray. That's what it means to prepare in peace so you don't break in chaos. Preparation is not just about action, it's about alignment. It's about being mentally, emotionally, and spiritually grounded before life has the chance to knock you off your feet. Look around at the world we live in. Everything is moving fast. Notifications are constant. Expectations are high. People are overwhelmed not because they're weak, but because they're unprepared. They roll into each day reacting instead of responding, surviving instead of building. But peace is a muscle. You have to work it daily, quietly, intentionally. When your life is calm on the outside, that's the time to train for the moments that won't be. Because chaos doesn't knock before it enters, it kicks the door down. Think of an athlete preparing for the Olympics. Do they wait until the day of competition to get serious? No, they train at 5 a.m. while the world sleeps. They repeat drills 1,000 times. They eat, think, and breathe their preparation. So when the lights come on and the crowd gets loud, they don't flinch. Why? Because their peace wasn't born on game day. It was developed in discipline. You have to adopt that same mindset. Life will test you. It will throw things you didn't see coming. But if you've built peace in your habits, you won't crack under the weight of unpredictability. Imagine waking up tomorrow to a message that changes your life. Maybe it's bad news. Maybe it's a betrayal. Maybe it's the unexpected weight of responsibility you didn't ask for. Now pause. Imagine how your version of peace would respond. Would you crumble? Or would you take a breath, close your eyes and say, this doesn't control me. I've already built the strength for this. That's the difference preparation makes. You don't wait for war to learn how to use your sword. In the chaos of life, most people look for escape. They distract themselves, drown themselves in entertainment, numb themselves with activity. But that's not peace. That's avoidance. Peace is not the absence of noise. It's the presence of clarity. And clarity doesn't show up in a cluttered soul. You've got to clear your mental space, shut off the world for a moment, and train yourself to think when others are panicking. Let me give you a real example. Have you ever seen someone face a family crisis with absolute composure? Maybe a death in the family, a sudden layoff, or a medical diagnosis. And yet they stood there, calm, steady, even smiling. You might wonder, how are they not falling apart? But what you're witnessing is the fruit of preparation. That person has been cultivating strength in silence. They've been feeding their mind with wisdom, checking their emotions, strengthening their spirit while everything was still okay. So when life stopped being okay, they didn't collapse. They carried the moment. We prepare in peace by feeding ourselves what sustains us: vision, purpose, stillness, and strategy. We reflect, we plan, we rehearse how to respond to pressure while things are calm. So we're not scrambling when they aren't. The average person reacts to the world. The prepared person shapes how they experience it. The difference is not talent, it's training. You've got to treat peace like a priority, not an afterthought. Carve out time to silence your phone and sit with your thoughts. Ask yourself, what throws me off emotionally? Where do I tend to spiral? What areas of my life feel out of control? Now deal with those things while the waters are still calm, because you'll never rise above the level of your preparation. And in moments of chaos, you won't rise to the occasion. You'll fall to the level of your training. There's a reason why soldiers don't train during war. They train in times of peace. So when chaos comes, they don't hesitate. They don't ask, what should I do? They already know. They've rehearsed it so many times that it's automatic. You need that same internal command structure. You need to know who you are and how you handle pressure before pressure even shows up. Because chaos is not the time to figure yourself out. It's the time to reveal what you've already built. You don't have to wait until everything falls apart to get serious about your growth. Build now, strengthen now, think deeply now, study your emotions now, set boundaries now, learn how to slow your breathing now, talk to yourself with clarity now. Because when the heat turns up, your peace won't panic, it'll activate. You'll respond like someone who's been here before, because in your preparation, you already have. The peace you build today is the strength you'll carry tomorrow. It's what will make people look at you and say, how are they not breaking? And your answer won't be complicated. It will be calm. I prepared for this. I've been practicing my peace. Anchor yourself in identity, not emotion. Anchor yourself in identity, not emotion. Because emotions shift like the wind. Today you're confident, tomorrow you're uncertain. One moment you're filled with courage, and the next you're questioning everything you ever believed. But when you know who you are, emotions no longer have permission to drive the car. They can sit in the back seat, but they don't hold the steering wheel. You have to build your life from the inside out, not the outside in. And that begins with identity. See, when you're anchored in your true identity, chaos doesn't shake you. It reveals you. Think about a tree during a storm. The branches may bend, the leaves may scatter, but the roots, if they run deep, won't let it fall. Your identity is your root system. If your identity is rooted in what people say about you, how much money you make, or how others treat you, then every shift in the environment will shake you to your core. But if your identity is rooted in your principles, your values, your calling, then no matter what storm comes, you stay standing. Let's make this plain. You walk into work and your boss snaps at you. In that moment, emotion wants to speak. You're not good enough. You're always the problem. They don't respect you. But identity answers differently. I know my worth. I bring value here. Their mood is not my measurement. That's what it means to be anchored in identity. Your identity reminds you who you are when your emotions try to make you forget. Identity is built in silence, not applause. You've got to know who you are without needing someone else to validate it. Because people are inconsistent. One day they love you, the next day they leave you. One moment they're singing your praises, the next they're questioning your potential. If your confidence is built on their noise, then their silence will destroy you. But when you're anchored, truly anchored, you don't need external confirmation. You've already confirmed it within yourself. Think about a thermostat versus a thermometer. A thermometer reacts to the temperature. It changes based on the environment. But a thermostat sets the temperature. It regulates, it controls. Most people live like thermometers, letting circumstances define their emotional state. But the ones who are anchored in identity, they're thermostats. The room changes because of them, not the other way around. They walk into pressure, into uncertainty, into fear. And instead of matching the chaos, they establish calm. That's the power of identity. Now let's get real. Emotions are not the enemy. They're indicators, not dictators. They inform you, but they shouldn't lead you. It's okay to feel frustrated, to feel overwhelmed, to feel afraid. But the question is, do you live there, or do you use your identity as a ladder to climb out? You don't drown by feeling. It's staying submerged in emotion that pulls you under. Identity gives you oxygen when pressure tries to suffocate your purpose. You've probably seen someone go through absolute disaster, divorce, betrayal, bankruptcy, and yet they move through it with grace. You wonder, how are they still composed? How are they still focused? What you're witnessing is not denial, it's depth. They're rooted. Their identity wasn't built on circumstance, so circumstance couldn't break them. They didn't just survive the storm, they commanded the storm with quiet strength. It's like the foundation of a skyscraper. The higher the building goes, the deeper the foundation must be. People want elevation, success, influence, recognition, but they ignore foundation. They skip the deep work. But without identity, your elevation will collapse under pressure. Your foundation must be deeper than your goals, because life will test you before it blesses you. Pressure always checks the foundation before permission is granted to rise. So how do you build identity? You audit your beliefs. You sit with yourself and ask, what do I believe about me when no one is watching? What truth am I building my life on? Do I truly believe I'm valuable when nothing is working in my favor? You meditate on who you are, not what you feel. You rehearse your core truth louder than your fears. You speak it, write it, declare it until your emotions submit to it. Emotions are like weather. They pass. But identity is like the sky. It remains. Today may be cloudy, tomorrow may be bright, but the sky itself never leaves. You are the sky. Your identity is unshakable when it's built on purpose, not on performance. And once you know who you are, you become dangerous to every storm that tries to shake you. Look at your own life. How many times did you almost quit because of a temporary feeling? How many doors did you almost close because fear whispered louder than faith? But every time you got still and reminded yourself of who you are, truly are, you found strength. That's not coincidence. That's identity rising. You've got to choose it daily. You wake up and remind yourself, I am not my mistakes. I am not my emotions. I am not their opinion. I am not the numbers in my bank account. I am not the chaos I walk through. I am who I decide to be. I am built for pressure. I am grounded in truth. I am stable even in storms. And you don't say it once, you say it until your heart believes it and your actions prove it. When you're anchored in identity, pressure becomes your platform. You stop running from tough situations and start standing in them with authority, because now you know emotions can pass, circumstances can shift, but identity remains. Never react, respond, never react, respond. That simple shift in mindset is what separates the emotionally mature from the emotionally fragile. Reactions are automatic, they're explosive. They're driven by the fire of the moment. Responses are deliberate. They're strategic. They're grounded in purpose, not panic. In every high-pressure situation, your greatest weapon is not how loud you can shout or how fast you can move. It's how deeply you can think before you act. Let me make it clear, reacting is easy. You get a rude message, and immediately your fingers start typing back a comeback. You're cut off in traffic, and you slam your horn and curse the air. Someone disrespects you in a meeting, and you feel the heat rise in your chest, ready to lash out and reclaim your pride. But here's the hard truth. Reaction may satisfy the ego, but it often sabotages your future. Because while you're reacting, you're giving power to the situation. You're saying, this controls me, this moment owns me, I have no authority over myself. And that is a dangerous way to live. But response is power under control. Response says, I see what's happening, but I won't let it define how I move. I'm still the author of my next move. Response doesn't mean silence, it means wisdom. It means choosing your words like a surgeon chooses their tools, carefully, intentionally, with precision. The difference between people who elevate under pressure and those who collapse is that one group responds while the other reacts. Let's take a real-life example. Picture a manager being falsely accused in front of their team. The instinctive reaction would be to defend immediately, maybe even raise their voice, prove their innocence by attacking the accuser. But the leader who understands the power of response pauses. They take a deep breath, they assess the room, the emotion, the energy, and instead of retaliating, they ask clarifying questions. They speak calmly, clearly. They protect their reputation, not by volume, but by values. That's how respect is truly earned in your personal life. This principle is even more vital. Think of a heated argument with someone you love. In those moments, emotions hijack reason. You're not listening to understand, you're listening to retaliate. But if you could just pause for 5 seconds and breathe, everything would change. Because in that pause, you reclaim power. You remind yourself, I don't want to win the argument, I want to win the relationship. And from that space, you respond. You speak from your values, not from your wounds. That's emotional maturity. There's a story of a pilot who once landed a malfunctioning plane with almost no visibility. When asked how he stayed calm, he said, I trained for the response, not the reaction. You see, reacting is based on instinct, but responding is based on preparation. Responding means you've already decided who you want to be under pressure. You've already rehearsed how to handle crisis without collapsing. It's not about pretending everything's okay. It's about choosing your power, even when everything seems out of control. One of the most powerful things you can ever learn in life is the art of the pause. The pause between what was said and what you say. The pause between what happened and how you handle it. That pause is not weakness. It is leadership. It is power. It is wisdom showing up in the form of silence. And from that, a strong response is born. Because in that pause, you remember your purpose. You recall your identity. You reconnect with your principles. You decide that your future is more important than your pride. Think of the times in your life when you reacted and then regretted it. The text you wish you hadn't sent, the argument you wish you hadn't escalated, the decision you made in anger that cost you peace. Now imagine what could have happened if you had paused and responded. Instead, you might have saved the relationship. You might have kept your job. You might have protected your integrity. That's the price of reaction, and that's the power of response. You don't respond because you're weak. You respond because you're strong enough to see beyond the moment. You respond because you understand that everything you do is either building your future or breaking it. You respond because your purpose is too great to be derailed by temporary emotion. When people try to provoke you, they're trying to pull you into their chaos. But when you respond with calm, you're reminding them and yourself that you don't belong to the storm. You belong to peace. Response is not passivity. It's not letting people walk over you. It's not pretending you're okay with disrespect. Response is controlled power. It's choosing to rise above, not sink to their level. It's saying, I will not let your fire burn down my peace. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional, about seeing the bigger picture, about asking yourself, is this reaction worth my dignity, my peace, my calling? So when the pressure rises, when people test your patience, when life squeezes you, don't give it your reaction. Give it your response, because that's where your strength lies. Not in how loud you shout, but in how clearly you choose. Not in how fast you move, but in how wisely you stand. Not in your impulse, but in your intention. That is how leaders are made. That is how battles are won. That is how pressure becomes purpose. Pressure reveals your triggers. Use them for transformation. Pressure reveals your triggers. Use them for transformation. Because pressure isn't your enemy, it's your mirror. It shows you what still owns you. It shows you where your wounds still bleed and where your emotions still lead. The pressure doesn't invent your triggers. It exposes them. It brings them to the surface so you can either run from them or rise above them. Every time you get irritated too fast, every time you shut down when things get tight, every time you lash out, walk away, or break down, that's not weakness, that's insight. That's life giving you a magnifying glass to say, this right here, this needs healing. So you will never grow from what you refuse to face. And triggers are those hidden buttons life keeps pressing until you finally decide, I'm not going to let this control me anymore. If someone says something and you lose your peace for hours, you've just been shown a place where your identity is still unstable. If someone overlooks you and suddenly you feel invisible, that's a trigger showing you where your validation still comes from approval. That's not a flaw, it's feedback. And feedback is a gift if you choose to learn from it. Let's take an everyday example. You're at work. You do your best, but your boss compliments someone else and not you. Suddenly, you feel invisible. That feeling of being unrecognized begins to echo something deeper. Maybe it reminds you of being ignored as a child. Maybe it reopens the voice that said you're not enough. Now you have two choices: react from the wound or transform from the awareness. The wound wants to sulk, to shut down, to withdraw. But transformation says, let me explore this. Let me ask why this hit me so hard. Let me see what lie I believe that still holds power over me. That is how transformation begins, not by ignoring the trigger, but by interrogating it. Your trigger is not there to torment you. It's there to teach you. It's a GPS to unresolved pain, a spotlight to hidden insecurity. But most people run from pressure. They try to medicate the discomfort instead of maturing through it. They scroll, binge, sleep, yell, or distract. But what if every trigger was a doorway to a more powerful version of you? Think about it. When pressure exposes a trigger and you face it instead of fleeing it, you take your power back. That same situation that used to steal your joy can now be the very place where you build your strength. You used to get offended every time someone disagreed with you. But now, because you process the root of that insecurity, you stand calmly in opposition and still keep your peace. That's transformation. That's elevation. A trigger is like a check engine light on a car. You wouldn't ignore that light, keep driving, and pretend everything's fine. You'd pull over, lift the hood, and find out what's wrong, because you know if you don't deal with it now, it'll cost more later. That's exactly how your emotional life works. Triggers are your internal warning system telling you something here needs healing, something here needs attention. Don't keep driving through this like nothing's wrong, because pressure doesn't go away. It just keeps repeating itself louder each time until you learn the lesson. Let me speak directly to you. That relationship that keeps bringing the same argument over and over, that moment when someone criticized you and you completely shut down, that irrational fear of rejection that keeps you playing small, that's not punishment. It's a path to deeper understanding of yourself, a path to maturity, a path to becoming unshakable. Because once you can see your trigger, you can disarm it. And once it's disarmed, it loses its control over your destiny. The strongest people you admire, they've done this work. They weren't born calm. They weren't born wise. They weren't born composed. They faced their pressure. They welcomed the heat. They asked hard questions and sat in uncomfortable answers. They took accountability. They chose healing over hiding. And that's why now they can walk through fire without burning. Every time life presses your buttons, it's giving you a decision point. Will you let this define you, or will you let this refine you? Will you react from your pain, or will you respond from your power? Will you carry the same trigger for 10 more years, or will you finally look it in the eye and say, you will not rule me anymore? Real growth doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from processing it. That's how you transform. You don't escape pressure. You engage it. You sit with it. You learn from it. You ask, what is this teaching me about myself? And who can I become because of this? The pressure is not here to destroy you. It's here to develop you. Every trigger is a teacher if you're willing to listen. Every wound is a workshop if you're brave enough to enter it. Every uncomfortable situation is a university for your soul if you're willing to attend the class. So the next time pressure reveals your trigger, pause, breathe, reflect, ask yourself, what's beneath this emotion? Then get curious, not judgmental, because that's how you change. That's how you evolve. That's how you build the kind of strength that doesn't just survive pressure. It uses pressure as fuel for transformation. Protect your peace like it's gold. Protect your peace like it's gold, because it is. In this world, people protect their money with passwords, vaults, insurance, and security systems. But your peace, that's the real treasure. That's the real wealth. And yet so many give it away like it's cheap. They trade it for approval, give it away in arguments, sacrifice it to please people who don't even care, and surrender it to situations they can't control. You have to get to a place in life where your peace becomes your non-negotiable. Because peace is power, peace is clarity, peace is what allows you to walk into chaos and not become it. It's what helps you choose wisdom over worry, calm over conflict, strategy over stress. When your peace is intact, your vision is sharp. But when your peace is disturbed, your judgment is cloudy, your heart is unstable, and your energy leaks like a tire with a slow puncture. You cannot afford to lose peace, not when your destiny depends on a focused mind and a grounded spirit. So ask yourself, what steals your peace? Who drains it? What do you keep saying yes to when your soul is screaming no? What situations keep pulling you into unnecessary noise? Because peace is not passive, it's intentional. It's not the absence of noise, it's the refusal to let noise live rent, free in your mind. Protecting your peace means choosing your battles. Not every comment deserves your clap back. Not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every energy deserves your response. Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine you're at work and there's that one colleague who always finds a way to push your buttons. You already know their pattern. They gossip, they provoke, they undercut. Now you have two options: engage or protect. Engaging means stepping into their drama, getting pulled into that emotional mud, and coming home exhausted. Protecting means smiling with boundaries, answering with brevity, and refusing to carry their chaos into your car, your home, your night. That's how you protect your peace. You don't let other people's storms move your internal weather. Or think about social media. One scroll and suddenly your mind is crowded. You're comparing your life to filtered photos, battling opinions in comment sections, absorbing everyone's stress, pain, and perfection. You start your day with a quiet heart, but by noon, your spirit is heavy and you don't even know why. You have to realize every scroll is an open door to your peace. You have to become the gatekeeper. You have to be intentional. You have to say, I don't consume chaos before I cultivate calm. I don't scroll through storms before I settle my soul. Some people think protecting peace means avoiding hard conversations, dodging responsibility, or staying silent. But that's not peace. That's avoidance. Real peace doesn't mean you ignore life. It means you engage life from a grounded place. You still have the meeting. You still make the decision, you still face the issue, but you do it from within a space that says, nothing outside of me is allowed to destroy what's steady inside of me. Protecting your peace also means setting boundaries, and boundaries are not walls, they're doors with locks. They say, I'm still accessible, but not to everything and everyone at all times. They say, I still care, but I care for myself too. Boundaries are the language of peace. Without them, you'll be pulled in 10 directions by people who have no idea what it's costing you. You'll be drained by the demands of others while your own soul goes bankrupt. Boundaries are how you tell the world, my peace matters here. Now, here's something most people miss. Sometimes the person disturbing your peace is you. You're overthinking your guilt, your inability to rest, your fear of slowing down, your addiction to proving yourself, your habit of self-criticism. Sometimes your mind is not under attack from others, it's under siege by your own thoughts. That's why protecting peace also means managing your inner dialogue. It means becoming your own safe space. It means looking in the mirror and speaking life, not judgment. It means forgiving yourself for not having it all figured out. It means reminding yourself that you are allowed to rest without guilt, to say no without explanation, to succeed without apologizing. There's a man who used to wake up at 4 a.m. every day to grind, hustle, and push his limits. And while the world praised him for being disciplined, what they didn't see was the anxiety that never left his chest, the stomach ulcers he developed, the relationships that quietly crumbled. Eventually, he collapsed not because he lacked strength, but because he lacked peace. He realized he was building a kingdom with no foundation. So he changed. He started waking up, not with panic, but with purpose. He began each day in silence, not strategy. And from that stillness, he found a deeper level of strength. That is what peace does. It doesn't weaken your grind. It purifies it. It doesn't take away your edge. It sharpens it. You are not here to survive storms all your life. You're here to become the calm in the storm. You're not here to chase every fire. You're here to become fireproof. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to live from a place so anchored in truth that not even rejection can shake you. That's the power of peace. And when you start protecting it, you'll see how quickly your life changes, not because everything outside of you calms down, but because everything inside of you finally does. Pressure is a signal, not a sentence. Pressure is a signal, not a sentence. It's not a life sentence. It's not a declaration of your limits. It's a whisper to your potential. It's life tapping you on the shoulder saying, there's more in you. Wake it up. You see, most people misread pressure. They think pressure means stop. They think pressure means something's wrong. But what if pressure is a divine alarm clock for greatness? What if pressure is the very sign that you're on the edge of breakthrough, not breakdown? Think of a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it's buried under dirt, dark, cold, compressed. That seed is under pressure, but that pressure doesn't destroy it, it activates it. That seed doesn't panic in the dirt. It starts transforming. It sends roots down before it ever grows up. Why? Because the pressure is a signal. It's telling the seed, get strong, dig deep, rise. And if a seed can trust the pressure of dirt to trigger its purpose, then why can't you? In your life, pressure will show up at the office, in your relationships, in your bank account, in your health, in your dreams. Pressure shows up in moments when the outcome is uncertain, but the expectations are heavy. Pressure is that voice in your head that says, what if you fail? What if they don't believe in you? What if you're not enough? But listen closely, there's another voice in pressure, the quieter one, the deeper one, the one that says, what if this is the moment you rise? What if this is how you level up? What if you're not being crushed, you're being called? A man once worked a high-stress job in sales. Every day he woke up with anxiety in his chest, deadlines, demounts. And for a while, he thought, this is too much. I'm not cut out for this. But one day, instead of trying to escape the pressure, he leaned into it. He asked himself, what is this pressure telling me? He realized he was afraid of disappointing others. He realized he hadn't yet defined success for himself. He realized he had never sat down to clarify his purpose. That pressure wasn't his enemy. It was his compass. It pushed him to evolve, to redefine, to rebuild. That same pressure became the reason he started his own business, stepped into leadership, and multiplied his impact. The pressure didn't end him. It introduced him to himself. Pressure is the place where average breaks, but greatness breaks through. Diamonds are not born in silence. They are born under intense heat and crushing force. Muscles don't grow in comfort. They grow when they are torn, stretched, and pushed past their normal capacity. So why would you expect your character to grow any other way? If you're asking for strength, life won't hand you peace and quiet. Life will hand you resistance. Life will hand you hard conversations. Life will hand you situations that reveal how deep your patience really goes, how wide your love can stretch, how tall your faith can stand. And when it does, don't panic. Listen. The pressure is a signal, but you have to be careful, because when people misread pressure, they settle. They quit before the breakthrough. They medicate the moment instead of mastering it. They choose distraction over development. They tap out and say, "This is too much," when in reality, it's exactly what they needed, because nothing reveals your growth like pressure. Anybody can smile when it's easy. Anybody can speak faith when the path is clear, but can you stay calm when the deal falls through? Can you stay grounded when they talk behind your back? Can you stay focused when the numbers don't look good, when the emotions run high, when the timeline gets delayed? Pressure is not designed to paralyze you. It's designed to prioritize you. It forces you to ask what really matters. It shows you what's worth your time and what's wasting your energy. It shows you which habits have been holding you back. Pressure comes to separate fluff from foundation. Pressure says, now we'll see what's real. When you're pressed, your values surface. Your vision is tested. Your integrity is exposed. Your mindset is put on display. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your training, and pressure reveals your level. I remember a story of a young woman studying for her final medical board exams. Her mother got sick 2 weeks before. Bills were piling up. Sleep was a luxury. Pressure was suffocating. But instead of crumbling, she carved out quiet spaces in her chaos. She studied in hospital waiting rooms. She recorded affirmations and played them during short naps. She lit candles at night and turned her apartment into a sacred space of focus and calm. She passed with distinction, not because she had more resources, but because she turned the pressure into preparation. That moment didn't break her, it built her. You have that power too, to reframe the pressure, to stop seeing it as a verdict and start seeing it as a voice. It's not saying you're weak. It's saying you're ready. It's not saying you're failing. It's saying you're forming. The reason you feel tension is because there's transformation happening. You're being stretched. You're being shifted. You're being summoned to a higher dimension of yourself. The old you can't hold the weight of where you're going. So the pressure comes to make room. It's not punishment. It's preparation. And if you can shift your perspective, you'll stop resisting the pressure and start responding to the call. You can't control the storm, but you can master the ship. You can't control the storm, but you can master the ship. Life will never give you a calm sea every day. Sometimes the wind howls so loud, it drowns out your thoughts. Sometimes the waves crash so high, they block out the sun. The storm isn't a maybe, it's a guarantee. You don't get to choose when the wind blows or when the tide turns, but you do get to choose how you steer, and that's where the power is. Power is not in changing the weather. It's in commanding your response. You don't have to be a sailor to understand this. In fact, most of us are captains of a different kind of ship. Our mind, our emotions, our reactions. And most people spend their lives blaming the storm instead of strengthening the ship. They say, I'm stressed because of them. I'm broken because of what happened. I'm angry because of the situation. But that's giving your power away to the storm. That's living like a leaf in the wind, tossed back and forth by circumstances. But you weren't made to be a leaf. You were made to be an anchor. You were made to be the one who holds steady when others drift. Think about the pilot in the cockpit of a plane going through turbulence. Passengers might panic. Drinks may spill. But the pilot doesn't scream. The pilot doesn't react. The pilot relies on training. Calm, measured, focused. Because the pilot has learned something powerful. You can't calm the storm by panicking. You calm it by stabilizing the ship. That's how champions think. That's how leaders move. That's how resilient people rise. Your life will have turbulence. You'll lose people you thought would stay forever. You'll face betrayal from places you trusted the most. You'll get news you didn't prepare for. You'll have seasons where it feels like everything is going wrong all at once. That's your storm. But even in that chaos, you get to be the captain. You get to breathe when others are gasping. You get to listen to clarity when the crowd is yelling confusion. You get to pause when pressure says rush. Mastering the ship means knowing that the external storm is temporary, but your internal peace is permanent if you train it. A woman I met once lost her job, her apartment, and her relationship all within 30 days. Most people would collapse. Most people would drown. But she chose a different course. She woke up every morning and declared, I don't control the wind, but I set my sail. She used her mornings to pray, to journal, to plan. She applied for jobs with excellence. She reached out to family with humility. She practiced stillness in the storm. Within 3 months, she landed a better job, moved to a safer home, and found herself emotionally stronger than she'd ever been. She didn't run from the storm, she rode through it with mastery. That's what makes people unstoppable. Not that they never face storms, but that they learn to pilot their spirit through the worst ones. When the storm hits, ask yourself, what can I control right now? Your breath? Yes. Your thoughts? Yes. Your choices? Absolutely. That's your ship. And the moment you start managing that, the storm loses its power over you. It might rage, but it can't sink you. A calm ship doesn't mean there's no storm. It means the captain knows where they're going and refuses to let temporary waves dictate permanent direction. You've got to remind yourself in the middle of pressure, I'm not led by panic, I'm led by purpose. You've got to anchor your emotions to something stronger than circumstances, because storms pass, but the damage of poor navigation doesn't. So don't let your emotions steer. Don't let fear grab the wheel. Don't let other people's chaos determine your course. You've got a compass in your chest, your values, your purpose, your vision. That's what you follow. When you master the ship, you stop reacting and start responding. There's a difference. Reacting is instant, impulsive, chaotic. Responding is deliberate, thoughtful, controlled. The storm might try to provoke you to react, scream, quit, shut down. But the master of the ship doesn't give the storm that satisfaction. The master says, let the winds rage. I know who I am. That's how you win. You don't win by silencing the storm. You win by silencing the storm inside you. Every time life pushes you, you have a decision. Either let the storm direct you or let it develop you. When you master the ship, the storm becomes your training ground, not your burial ground. You start seeing every hit as a hammer shaping your strength. Every delay is a drill for your discipline. Every betrayal is a test for your balance. That's how greatness is formed, not in ease, but in endurance. And let me remind you, no great captain was ever made on still waters. If you want a legacy, if you want impact, if you want to rise, then stop asking for easier seas. Start asking for stronger sails. Learn how to adjust, how to pivot, how to stay calm when others are chaotic. Master your tone when others raise their voice. Master your focus when distractions roar. Master your integrity when shortcuts tempt you. Master your direction when everything feels uncertain. Because the storm might be stronger, but your ship is smarter. Your ship is seasoned. Your ship was built for this. You didn't survive all that just to lose your mind now. You didn't come this far just to let a little wind knock you off course. So lift your head, take the wheel, and remind the storm it might surround you, but it doesn't command you. You do. Speak calm into chaos. Speak calm into chaos. That's not just a nice phrase. It's a life strategy. You see, chaos doesn't knock on your door and ask for permission. It barges in. It erupts in the middle of your plans, flips your peace upside down, and challenges everything you thought you were ready for. Chaos shows up as that unexpected bill you didn't plan for, the betrayal from someone you trusted deeply, or the health scare that catches you off guard. But here's the truth. Chaos doesn't break you, it reveals you. It pulls back the curtain on what's truly running your life. Is it fear? Is it doubt? Or is it calm, rooted in conviction? Real power is not proven when everything is going well. Anybody can smile in the sunshine. Anybody can talk wisdom when the room is quiet. But can you hold your peace when the noise gets loud? Can you still respond with clarity when the pressure is high, the clock is ticking, and your emotions want to scream? Speaking calm into chaos means refusing to let external circumstances hijack your internal authority. It's when you say, I will not be moved by this mess. I will manage my response even if I cannot control the situation. I remember a young man who lost his father in a tragic accident just days before his final exams. He had every reason to collapse. The pain was unbearable, the timing unfair. But do you know what he did? He showed up, quiet, focused. He took every exam, not because he was numb, but because he had trained himself to find peace in his center, no matter what was breaking around him. And later he told me, I didn't sit for those exams because I was okay. I sat because I refused to let chaos have the last word. That right there is what it means to speak calm into chaos. You must learn to be your own thermostat in a world of thermometers. Thermometers only reflect what's around them. They rise when it's hot, they drop when it's cold. But thermostats set the temperature. You are not here to mirror the panic of the world. You're here to set the tone, set the pace, set the atmosphere. And sometimes that means holding your peace in the middle of someone else's storm. It means responding with wisdom when others are reacting with worry. It means saying, peace be still, not because the chaos disappears instantly, but because your spirit has already chosen stillness. Don't get me wrong, this is not about pretending problems don't exist. This is not about denial. This is about dominion. This is about spiritual and mental authority. It's about refusing to allow fear to take the mic. It's about not letting pressure write your decisions. It's about becoming the person who can walk into a room full of chaos and shift the energy, not by shouting louder, but by standing firmer, by being still when stillness feels impossible. That's not weakness. That's control. That's command. A woman I met was once the operations manager of a hospital emergency room. She told me about a day when multiple critical cases rolled in at once. Gunshot wounds, heart attacks, one child unconscious from drowning. The ER was flooded. Nurses were snapping. Doctors were racing. Families were screaming. And in the eye of that emotional hurricane, she stepped up with a voice like steel wrapped in silk. We stay calm. We follow the process. We breathe one step at a time. And people listened because calm is louder than chaos when it's real. She didn't just manage the room. She mastered the moment. That's what we're called to do. Let me tell you, some of your greatest victories will come not because the problem went away, but because you didn't go away. Because you stood. You didn't fold. You didn't run. You didn't break. You spoke calm. Into a situation that wanted to consume you, you spoke focus. Into a moment that wanted to rush you, you spoke patience. Into a fear that tried to silence you, you spoke boldness. Into confusion, you spoke direction. That's how warriors are made, not in the absence of chaos, but in the presence of it, when they refuse to let it alter their identity. You can be that person in your family, the one who doesn't panic when the bills pile up, the one who doesn't lose their temper when others get loud, the one who listens deeply, speaks wisely, and chooses peace even when war is brewing. You can be the calm in your team, your business, your community. Because calm is not just a feeling, it's a force. It's a leadership trait. It's a decision you make before the chaos even comes. It's the inner contract that says, I will not betray my peace to impress panic. And let me tell you this, every time you speak calm into chaos, you raise your value. You become the one people look to, the one they trust, the one they follow. Because in a world drowning in noise, the one who carries stillness becomes magnetic. The one who holds their composure becomes the compass. So speak it. Speak calm into the room. Speak calm into the meeting. Speak calm into your own mind when thoughts are racing and your heart is pounding. Speak calm when life screams urgency and your spirit whispers peace. Speak it and watch how the chaos starts losing its grip. Not because it left, but because it lost the power to control you. What you practice in private becomes power in public. What you practice in private becomes power in public. This is a truth that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. You see, the world only sees the result, the confident speaker, the successful entrepreneur, the calm leader. But behind every public victory is a private discipline. It's the quiet moments no one watches that shape your greatness. The early mornings when you push yourself to study while others sleep. The late nights when you choose to rehearse your craft instead of scrolling endlessly. The moments when you refuse to give in to frustration, when you repeat your goals silently to yourself, when you prepare your mind and spirit away from applause. That's where the real work happens. That's where power is born. Imagine an athlete. On game day, the crowd cheers for the flawless shot or the winning sprint. But what nobody sees is the thousands of hours spent in the gym alone, pushing through pain, sweat, and exhaustion. The private grind. That's what built the muscle, the stamina, the mindset to perform under pressure. The public victory is simply the reflection of that private persistence. And it's no different in life. If you want to handle pressure with calm, if you want to respond with strength, then you must master your private moments, your thoughts, your habits, your self-talk. Because these private practices are the soil in which your public power grows. Think about the most confident person you know. Maybe it's your boss, a friend, or a mentor. What you don't see is how many mornings they woke up and battled doubt in silence. How many times they fought the urge to quit when no one was looking. How many times they practiced patience when frustration screamed. Those private battles, fought alone, are the foundation of their public calm. The quiet discipline is the secret weapon. That calm you admire, it didn't just happen overnight. It was earned in the shadows of solitude. Every great leader, every influencer, every person who seems unshakable in storms has cultivated a private kingdom of strength. They practice focus when distractions call. They rehearse courage when fear whispers. They choose gratitude when bitterness tries to settle in. This private practice is a daily investment. It's like planting seeds in a garden. You may not see immediate blooms, but with consistency, the harvest is inevitable. Your public power is the fruit of your private labor. Remember, what you practice in private doesn't just shape your capabilities, it shapes your character. When you make a habit of calm, patience, and resilience behind closed doors, you build an identity. You train your mind to expect excellence from yourself, even when no one else is watching. You train your spirit to stand firm when challenges come. This is what makes pressure bearable. This is what makes chaos manageable. Because you've rehearsed peace long before the world demanded it from you. A friend of mine once told me about his journey from a shy, uncertain young man to a confident speaker who now commands rooms filled with thousands. The transformation didn't happen on stages. It happened in front of a mirror every morning, rehearsing words, controlling his breathing, training his mind to stay calm under pressure. No audience, no applause, just relentless practice. When the spotlight finally found him, he was ready. His private discipline became his public power. This is a call to everyone who feels overwhelmed by life's pressures. Focus on your private practice, your thoughts, your habits, your daily rituals. Because the world doesn't give power, it reveals power. And power is revealed through consistency in the unseen moments. When you master those moments, you carry an unshakable peace into every situation. You carry a strength that others can't steal because it's forged inside you, away from the noise and chaos. What you practice in private is your foundation. Build it strong. Build it daily. Build it with intention. When you do, no public pressure will break you, no crisis will shake you, no challenge will defeat you. Your private practice becomes your armor. Your calm in public is a testimony of that hidden work. That is the power of discipline. That is the power of preparation. That is the power of what you do when no one is watching. When life pushes you to the edge, remember this: diamonds are created under pressure. You were not made to shatter when stress surrounds you. You were designed to shine brightest in the darkest moments. It is in those very moments of pressure that your character is tested, your strength is revealed, and your destiny is forged. The storms you face are not punishments. They are setups for your breakthrough. Every challenge is an invitation to rise higher, to grow stronger, and to become the person you were always meant to be. So embrace pressure not as your enemy, but as your greatest teacher. Never forget that pressure is not something to fear, it is something to harness. The tallest trees bend in the wind, but they do not break. They sway with grace, rooted deep in the soil beneath them. So must you stand firm in your values, anchored in your purpose, and flexible enough to adapt without losing yourself. The world will test you. It will demand more than you think you can give, but within you lies a reservoir of calm power and resilience far greater than any external circumstance. It is your choice to tap into that wellspring or allow chaos to drown you. Choose wisely. Choose strength. As the great Nelson Mandela once said, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." These words carry a profound truth. No matter what storms rage outside, your inner world remains your domain. You hold the steering wheel of your life and you decide the direction. Will you steer toward panic, or will you navigate with calm and clarity? Will you let fear take the helm, or will you command courage to chart your course? The power is in your hands right now, in this very moment. Remember the words of Winston Churchill, who declared, "If you're going through hell, keep going. Pressure will try to stop you, but persistence will propel you forward." When everything inside you screams to quit, that is the exact moment to push harder, to hold tighter, and to rise above the noise. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often found in that single choice to continue despite the pressure. Pressure is the crucible of greatness. It is not your enemy, but your ally, refining your spirit and sharpening your focus. You must also believe in the power of your own mindset. As Henry Ford famously said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Your thoughts shape your reality." If you allow pressure to convince you that you are weak, you will become weak. But if you choose to see pressure as a stepping stone to victory, you will become unstoppable. The battles you fight in your mind determine the battles you win in life. Guard your mind fiercely. Feed it with strength, hope, and unwavering belief in your ability to overcome. It's also essential to understand that calmness is not the absence of chaos, but the mastery of it. Like a skilled sailor who navigates the wildest seas with steady hands, you can learn to command your emotions, your thoughts, and your reactions. As Lao Tzu taught, "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." The greatest victory you can achieve is mastering your inner world. When you do that, no external force can shake your foundation. Calmness becomes your superpower, your sanctuary, and your most effective tool to thrive. Remember the story of the bamboo tree that takes years to grow beneath the surface before it shoots up over 80 feet in just a few weeks. Your growth may be invisible now, but the time you spend building resilience, patience, and calm under pressure is setting the stage for an explosive breakthrough. Stay faithful to your process. Keep nurturing your inner strength, because when your moment arrives, you will rise like that bamboo, unstoppable, unshakable, and unmatched. And lastly, hold on to the words of Theodore Roosevelt, who challenged us to be the person in the arena whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds. You are that person. You are the warrior. You are the champion. Every time you stand calm in the face of pressure, you are winning. Every time you choose peace over panic, you are conquering. Every time you refuse to let circumstances define you, you are creating your legacy. Pressure is inevitable, but defeat is optional. Strength is a decision. Calmness is a choice, and greatness is within your grasp if you dare to reach for it with courage, conviction, and unyielding faith in yourself. The world is waiting to witness your calm in chaos, your strength in struggle, and your victory in the midst of pressure. Step into that power. Speak calm, live boldly, and watch as the impossible becomes your reality.